Hello, and welcome to Once Upon a Time in Black History. I am your host, Tamara Shiloh, author, educator, and owner of the Multicultural Bookstore in Richmond, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. You can also find us on my website at onceuponatimeInBlackHistory.com. Our shows are sponsored by the Multicultural Bookstore, and if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please send me an email at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. Alrighty then, let's get this party started. I'm your host, Tamara Shiloh, and today we're opening the Pantry of the Past to learn about a man who helped shape America's earliest presidential dinners, Hercules Posey, the first known White House chef. He wasn't just a cook, he was a man of skill, style, and silent resistance, but he was also a slave. His story is as complicated as it is courageous. So let's travel back to the late 1700s. America is a new country, and George Washington is its first president. Behind the scenes, the presidential home in Philadelphia bustled with activity, and in the kitchen, one man in charge. That man was Hercules, Washington's personal cook. Born around 1754, possibly in Vienna, Hercules was enslaved at Mount Vernon, Washington's plantation. As he gained experience, he proved himself to be incredibly talented in the kitchen. Eventually, he was chosen to lead the kitchen in the president's Philadelphia household, a rare and powerful position for anyone, let alone a slave man. But this wasn't just any kitchen. This was the culinary heart of the new nation. Hercules prepared elaborate meals for foreign dignitaries, politicians, and influential thinkers. The pressure was enormous, but Hercules rose to the occasion, developing a reputation for excellence. He managed a full kitchen staff. He dressed in fine clothes, silk waistcoats, polished shoes. People in Philadelphia noticed him. He carried himself like a free man, and in many ways, he lived more freely than most enslaved people of this time, but legally, he still belonged to Washington. Now, here's something interesting. Pennsylvania had a gradual abolition law. If an enslaved lived in the state of 6 continuous months, they could legally petition for their freedom. Washington knew this, and he worked around it. Every few months, he would rotate his enslaved workers back to Virginia just before they reached the 6-month mark. This meant Hercules, despite his status and talent, was denied any chance at freedom through the law. He had 3 children, Richmond, Evie, and Delilah. They lived back at Mount Vernon. Imagine preparing fine meals for America's founding fathers while knowing your own children were being raised hundreds of miles away, still in bondage. That heartbreak likely fueled his next move. On February 22nd, 1797, George Washington's 65th birthday, Hercules made his escape. He vanished from Mount Vernon, choosing his own freedom over continued service. Washington was enraged. He tried to find him, but Hercules had disappeared. For many years, historians didn't know what happened to him, but research uncovered that Hercules eventually made his way to New York City, where he lived as a free man until his death in 1812. He even took a last name, Posey, that was likely borrowed from a family he may have known growing up, or perhaps it was a name he chose to mark his new, independent identity. Even more fascinating, there was a portrait of Hercules painted during his time working for Washington. It was rare, almost unheard of, for enslaved people to be painted in that era. It tells us how respected and well-known Hercules had become, even among white society. That portrait was lost for many years, but is now part of the historical record, a powerful image of a man both bound and brilliant. Today, we think of White House chefs, we picture celebrity cookbooks, press interviews, and televised kitchens. But it all started with Hercules, a man who labored under oppression but cooked with pride. He never saw a paycheck. He never earned the freedom he so clearly deserved from the people he served. But in the end, he took his freedom. That makes him not just a remarkable chef, but a symbol of resistance. Now imagine that. All right then, see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to Once Upon a Time in Black History. For more information on this topic and others, visit the Multicultural Bookstore at multiculturalbookstore.com. And again, if you want to advertise in our podcast for a mere $25, please contact me at tamarshiloh@gmail.com. See you next time.